So in this video I'm going to be making a macro mod from this DS Lite. This is again from that 13 console bundle. The sticker on it says top screen faulty/broke, reads games, charges, shoulder button missing, needs stylus. So probably something else to add to that list that we'll discover. So no battery cover. Interesting, I'll have to source one from another console possibly. Yeah, stylus missing, shoulder bumpers are gone, and I think I said this in the video when I was unboxing it. Not only is that shoulder bumper's working, but not only is the backing missing, but also the button itself. So I'm gonna have to solder in a bumper there. We're missing quite a few screws actually. Missing a volume slider, and this one also has the power switch broken. So you can see there that rectangular slit, that's where a bit of plastic should poke out and grab into the power slider, should go in there, that slot. That's broke off as well. So this has quite a few issues. The shell looks to be in good condition, which is probably the only thing going for it. So what I'm going to do is obviously go through the mod, remove the top screen. We'll have to replace the switch, put in some shoulder bumpers, and it's also missing all the screws, and I didn't really see any screws that came with this one. However, somewhere I do have a bag of just loose, here we go, just a bag of loose screws. So I'm gonna have to kind of try and use some of these and know which one goes in which. So let's just get started. So the first one I'll do, actually, let's just test to see if it will switch on. Okay, so it powers on. I didn't hear any sound, the volume's all the way down, so let's just put it up just to make sure the speakers do work. As you can see there, that top screen is completely gone. There's nothing to that screen anymore. I mean, nothing seems to. Obviously we've got to calibrate it because there's no battery bin in, so let's just put in anything in. Sound works. Let's just boot straight through this. So what I'm going to do, just switch out. This has been off overnight. Anyone had a heart attack there when I just grabbed the tip of the iron. Where am I? I'm going to grab a chisel, if I can find it. So when I'm doing it, I can get a couple of contacts at the same time, and there's no need to lift one, which then puts stress on the other areas. And it's also good just to do, because I'm going to get rid of the DS slot. It's good to get quite a few of them done at once. And also when we put in the resistor for the macro mod, which obviously I'll come to a bit later. Okay, let's turn that on. Whilst that's heating up, I'm going to take out the board. So disconnected the top screen, don't need that for now, set that to the side. This is what we're going to be working on. I'm going to disconnect the screen just so it's not flailing around. Do the touchscreen connector. Okay, so let's set that to the side. We'll use that obviously later, but for now we can start working on the board. So I need to replace the power switch, get a shoulder bumper from somewhere else, and also then start to solder in the resistor, and we should be good to go. So let's start with the power switch anyway. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do actually is leave the base intact and then just find the actual, so this plastic bit that obviously housed the spring, this plastic bit, obviously that's where the tab has snapped off. I'll just grab another one of these from another Game Boy, Nintendo DS, and then just put it back in rather than taking the whole switch off completely. There we go. So I don't need the spring, but it's good to have one, I suppose. Let's just set that to the side. Bring in the original. So looks clean. Let's set this in, but we're going to have to put the spring in. Let's put the original. And let's see how we're going to do this. So obviously the spring goes in, and then this needs to be, is that got enough room? I think it's always under tension, so this is going to be real tricky. So what I'll probably do is come back to this, just kind of do a cut here. Right, okay, that should be okay now. Seems to work. That's that sorted. Let's get the shoulder bumper off this one. Okay, so I think only time will tell if this button works. The shoulder bumper that I've put back on, or replaced. So power switch, shoulder button. Now I think what I'll do is leave this on for now. Let's get the resistor installed. So what we have to do is stick a resistor in between points. You got to go there to there. Build up some solder on these pads before trying to put it down. There we go. Then get your tweezers, take your resistor. I'm going to flip this to be the right side up. Oh, that's gone in beautifully. So let's have a close up. You can see, ooh, there's a little bit of solder stuck up there, but I think I managed to get it off. It was that thin. Okay, so my camera decided to just stop recording, not make a noise, right after I installed the resistor for the screen. So I've missed everything that I did in between then. So just to bring you up to speed, because this is really frustrating that I've done all this work. I was on thinking I was being filmed all this time, but no. So what I managed to do, we got the resistor in, we turned it on, it worked. I've removed the DS slot from the console, so we got enough room for the speakers. I've removed the speakers from the top shell, so what I did was just took apart the top part and removed the speakers out of there, because what I'm doing now is going to install left and right speakers. So to install those, we have to, if you want to use one speaker, then you would use SPR0 or SPL0, so that one there, or the one that this one's attached to. I'm going to do two speakers, so my left one's going to go there, the right one's currently attached there, for the red cable that is anyway. The black cable, or the black wire, would then go to the ground port here on the headphone jack. So what I'm going to do quickly on camera before any other issue happens, I think the battery is slowly dying. I'm just going to measure it up for length. Probably try and do this as a more straight, yeah, because I don't really have a great deal of length on the other cable, on the other wire. I don't know why I keep calling it cable. Let's just strip this. Oops, I'm actually moving the wire as well inside. There we go. Okay, so that's one speaker installed. Nothing's ever straightforward, is it? Trying to solder this second speaker on, and the magnet from the speaker attracted to the soldering iron and has now ruined the speaker. So I think what I'm going to do, it just sticks to everything. What I'm going to do is just go ahead with the single speaker setup. Pretty much everything at this point is soldered down, stuck down, and appears that it is finished as far as this technical side is concerned. Obviously we got the the issue of taking this part of the shell and either filling all this in up here, building it up, or doing whatever to remove kind of what was there and to have this nice smooth finish. But that's what I'm going to actually do in another video. So this is long enough. This is part one, the kind of technical side of how to actually get it working. I mean, fingers crossed, we still actually need to put this back together and test it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Got a feeling that might intercept there. Yeah. So I'm going to try and do, because there isn't a lot of room left in the shell really. What's the point in designing something to have wasted space? So this, I could probably cut that out to be fair, but for now I want to keep it in. Is it still touching? Yeah. Let's keep trying. So it's actually, it's not that one, it's this side. Let's move it there. And there we go, that sits nicely. I'm going to try and keep that cable about there. Right, 100% battery in now, so it shouldn't just switch off in the middle of me doing something. Let's just get some tape on this so it's held in place. Come on, tape. There you go. So I'll do it there. Okay, so let's start to assemble this now. We've got, that's the back, that's fine. We need to put shoulder bumpers in. So this is where actually, let's take this back out because we need to put the, let's go with this. I'm just going to put this back in because it looks nice with the LED kind of tunnels, and it keeps it even, kind of symmetrical each side. So that's why I'm just going to put this back in place. These two long screws. And I think I'm actually going to go red red and black, or grab some this is Y, so that goes there. So, oh yeah, actually, let's go for the green. Yeah, 100%. Okay. I even have a green slot cover, but obviously might not use that. And a battery cover, and the shoulder bumpers as well. Okay, fantastic. Right, it's just going to start to get messy, very messy. Let's get this put back together properly. So, board done. Time to attach the screen back on. Where do we put it? There he is. Let's go ahead and put these buttons in. Okay. Now we can insert this module and screen board. Why is it giving me some funky resistance? There we go. Let's get some board screws put in place. I think there's only 2. Although I have a feeling there should be 3. There's one there. One here. And then the third one. Maybe there's, anyway, I think 2 is probably enough, to be fair. So now we've got that in place, let's get these done. I think I'll probably, if these take too long, skip through this, so. Okay. In place, done. I want the volume slider, that needs to be on the receiving shell, this half. As far as I'm aware, that's all done internally. So let's slot in. Ooh, don't know if we have a green power switch. I'll have to try and find that in a second. I've got a green volume, which will go in this way, I think. Where are we? Down here. So that's not right. So let's turn it that way. There we go. Sorry, that was off screen. Bad habit this. Let me find the green power switch. Okay, got it. Let's insert it. Take out the black one actually. Put in the green. Is that the right way? No. That's the right way. Is it? Yep. Okay. Let's put it together. Let's flip it over. Squeeze it all together. Oh wow, okay, that is looking pretty goddamn awesome, if I may say so myself. You know, let's just top it off, slot that in. Yeah, that's looking fantastic. Looking fantastic. Whether it works or not, let's try that. Absolutely fingers crossed here, this is gonna have to work. Green light, it's green on. And it's booted up. Absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to go through this. You know what? No, let's go. Caps. This is really frustrating that it hasn't come with enough screws. So either that person's lost them, or they've just taken them for other projects. So you know what, I've got 2 in up there, that can hold it in for now. Let's turn it on, get it all set up again, because obviously with the battery coming out, it might reset, and I think, yeah it has, so let's go through again. Okay, turn it back on. touchscreen works. Let's turn the brightness up. What I wanted to do is go into the settings, because what you need to do now is set up so that when it goes into GBA mode, it uses the touchscreen. Because if it uses the top screen, well, you won't see anything on the touchscreen. And this is the whole idea of it. So, and when you want it to turn on, you want it to go basically just. I would rather go into auto mode. So when if anything's connected, it just boots straight up rather than going to the main menu. So I'm going to put it in auto mode. And then obviously when you leave, the system has to shut down. So what I'll do is I'll not plug anything in yet, boot it up. Go to the main menu. Let's plug in a game. I know it read it just because I've just booted it up into the Mario Kart. Let's turn it off and turn it back on. There's obviously something, look, boot straight up into it. So basically that is how you make a Game Boy macro. Next I will obviously take this all apart again and give it a thoroughly good cleaning, and that's when we're going to look at what to do with this top bit, because at the moment it's good having the LED indicators there with the light tube. However, I'm going to try and get this to be flush, so there is no hinge sticking up. And that would obviously involve some fabrication of like plastic kind of stuff. But anyway, I'm going to set that on charge and try and find some screws for it, but that is done. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in part 2 for the macro mod.